Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. No change basically from an outlook point of view. Okay, so the idea was still to ideally push a little higher, possibly to 68, maybe even slightly into all-time high territory before this wave 3 finishes. I have now adjusted the microstructure a little bit. Based on the latest price data, it helps us to understand a little better, what's happening here. Please be aware that those micro counts are always a bit fragile, but it allows us to understand, let's say, a more up-to-date invalidation point, basically, and where things could be heading. So we take a look at that in this video. If you're interested in the daily time frame, check out my last video. I explained it there. Also talked about the bigger picture and the overall assumption, basically, about which overall scenarios could be playing out. But for now, I remain focused on my white scenario, which, as we talked about it over the weekend, actually was ideally going to break out to the upside of this triangle. That happened. I've made a change today after my last video, basically. So the idea was, okay, maybe this was a wave 4 triangle and we're moving up in wave 5. Possible. I just don't have a very clear microstructure here. I now think it might be that the wave 4 actually bottomed here. That doesn't really change anything in terms of direction, but it gives us a better idea of where things could be heading. So I want to share with you, based on this assumption that wave 4 bottomed here on the 28th of February. Yeah, we are still in wave 5. That's no change, but we have a subwave structure that we can work with that allows us to understand a little bit more about what's going on. And it would be, in my reading here, in my interpretation, an ending diagonal in wave 5. So that means wave 1 topped here at around 63,640 on the 29th of Feb. Then we had a wave 2 pullback. We are likely now in wave 3. Looking at wave 3, what do I always say? First ideal target, the 1.38 extension. This is at, so we're going to change that. I will also show that with dashed lines so we can distinguish it. And the 1 point. So these are sort of the levels, I think, to watch for the third wave there. Basically, what I'm talking about is wave 3 of wave 5. And it's likely an ABC structure, the way I see it. So we would be dealing with A wave, B wave, C wave. And then wave C of 3, yeah. So ideally, first ideal target, 68.5K. Okay, so that's the 1.38 extension minimum target, 67,590. Can always go a little higher if it wants to. And then we could still get another 4-5 pattern. Now, this wave count gives us basically an invalidation point, which is the B wave low, 61,430, which means now instead of 57,130, it's the 61,000. Yeah, okay, let's just double check that. 61,380 level, yeah. That if that's broken, it would indicate that the top is in. But for now, it seems like we want to grind a little higher in what currently is wave C of 3. Then we could still get a 4 and a 5. So again, I remain of my, I keep my stance and say, okay, I'm not going to confirm a top in place until we have confirmation or at least some indication, and that would be the break below the B wave low. Instead, it seems like wave 3 could reach 68,500, and then wave 5 could reach 70K. This would be in line with what I highlighted to you like in the last couple of weeks. I mentioned that it is possible, even though the move from the 23rd of January low, which was down here, it is quite stretched to the upside, due to the proximity to all-time highs and the euphoria that we see in the market. It is possible that we might see a stretch to all-time high territory. So basically, yeah, 70K. Again, that's not a maximum, right? It can always extend higher. We need some kind of evidence to indicate or confirm that some kind of a top is in place. Until we see that, the focus can be on higher. And now it's against the 61,380 level, against which we can focus on higher. And yeah, as, we can get into target ranges, but then still, without a break of micro support, we shouldn't confirm a top. Not in a market like this. And that perspective allowed us to basically remain focused, continue to remain focused on the upside. Here, this last support area was actually also triggered, reached. So ideally, anybody who didn't have a position maybe made use of that support zone, did get a position, is now nicely in profit. All you need to do is maybe just to move up your stop into break-even territory. Fair enough. And so it can still stretch a little higher. Then once we get into that region here, as highlighted by the dashed lines, caution is advised. And then we are going to be on high alert for a potential pullback, the completion of wave 3, but possibly we need another 4-5 pattern, as it seems it would look best. Yeah. Now, obviously, because this is a wave C of 3, what you can do as an really early indication that the top is in, it would be the 50% retracement level of the distance of the C wave. So here we talk about 63,880. If that level breaks, it means, okay, watch the chart. It doesn't mean, okay, we've topped, but it means, okay, we could have topped. So be aware then. So yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. Just want to make you aware about the latest adjustments of the microstructure, but the trend is not affected, no invalidation, but it just allows us to understand a little better where things could be heading. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.